So you want to create a new productive morning routine. Now, if you do, I want to share a couple of experiences that have happened to me, hopefully to serve as a bit of a warning of how to do this properly and not make mistakes that are going to result in you going back to square one and just failing. So there's been several times in my life where I've started with great intentions, maybe a burst of enthusiasm, maybe, a moment of frustration where I vow that I'm going to change, vow that I'm going to turn over a new leaf. Except I've started gym routines before. I've started, 5 a.m. morning routines, like new healthy success routines. I've followed Miracle Morning. Might be familiar with the book by Alot. And I've, really started with the best intentions, but very quickly I found myself going back to square one, just slipping back into my old habits. 3-4 weeks down the line, I've stopped the stuff that I'd started and, really not made any progress at all. And over the last couple of years, I've really been putting a lot of attention and focus into refining and figuring out what actually makes a successful morning routine. How do you stick at it? How do you overcome that? And, the little voice that goes on in there when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. or we don't want to go to the gym, we don't feel like it, we're lacking in that motivation, maybe we're tired and frustrated, whatever it is. The question I've been asking myself is, how do we create an environment that makes success automatic? And what I believe that I've come up with is a three-step process to building a super effective morning routine that is specifically tailored for you and is going to enable you to actually create long-term sustained success, right? And that's the key, because a massive mistake that I've made repeatedly and that I see other people make time and time again is they approach it with the wrong mindset. We go at it with like an all guns blazing, I'm going to change the world mentality, but we're basically, we're trying to climb a mountain when we've never even really reprogrammed how our minds work in the first place. And that leads to inevitable failure. We're going to quit when it gets hard. We're going to give up. It's too much at once. And we miss the point, which is that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So we've got to look at this as a long-term game. Really important, right? So the first thing, three-step process, number one, is we need awareness around what habits we actually need to create that are going to help us achieve our goals. Don't go and set yourself a goal to do 45 minutes of HIIT training 5 times a week if that's not even really in line with the result that you want to create. Don't set yourself a goal to write 1,000 words of a novel or a book if you don't even really want to write a book. I mean, it sounds obvious, but so many people will set goals and try to create a productive morning routine based on what they think society tells them they should do, based on what they think they should do, not what they want to do. Right? So number one, get awareness around what you actually need to help you create your goals. It's about what you need, not what the world tells you should need. Okay? Step one, awareness around what you need. Step two is forming the right habits through consistency. And the key word here is consistency. So the goal when we're creating a new morning routine, a healthy, productive routine, is that we want to focus on making this consistent for the long term, right? Don't set yourself huge goals. Don't go from 0 to 100 all at once. Because what's going to happen is it's going to get challenging. 2-3 weeks down the line when the buzz is starting to wear off and that voice in our head is telling us to give up, we're going to cave in. We need to make sure that we're focusing on the important thing, which is to build a habit. And building a habit is about setting smaller milestones that act as a foundation for the long term. So there's a book that I really recommend actually that talks about this in a lot more detail, and it's called Mini Habits by Stephen Guise. And the idea and the principle is that you set yourself much smaller goals that you're going to achieve, And what that means is the resistance to actually doing them is going to be far lower. We're far less likely to quit. And that means that we're actually creating the foundation of forming a new habit. We're rewiring our minds, we're reprogramming our bodies, and we're teaching ourselves to make this new habit automatic. So you're much better off setting a goal to just do 20 press-ups in the morning. And sure, you can do more. If you want to do more, that's fantastic. But don't set yourself a goal to do 45 minutes of HIIT training and then just give up after 2 weeks, because that's not going to create change in your life. But doing 20 press-ups every morning, that will create long-term change in your life. And once that's as automatic as brushing your teeth, then you might start to build on that and create bigger goals, but not before. Right? The worst thing that we can do is quit and give up, because then we just go back to square one. It's about consistent action every single day to form a new habit, and that takes time. We've got to keep that in mind, right? So that's step 2, consistent actions form a new habit. And step 3 is to manufacture your environment for success. Now, one of my mentors talks about this as tipping the scales, right? So we make the repercussions of failing more severe, and we make the benefits of succeeding more attractive. And so tipping the scales, one of the things that well, 2 things actually that I really recommend to make the repercussions of failing more severe are public accountability. So in other words, declare what you're doing to the world, because then you know that people are watching you. And if you give up and you quit, there's real ramifications of that. People are going to look at you and see that you've quit. We don't really want that as human beings. All right? So if we can put a public declaration out there, which is scary, but it's going to make us much more likely to follow through and commit. And here's the thing that I would say. If you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to do that, that's too scary, because what if I give up and what if I fail? Then I'll look like an idiot. Well, that's the whole bloody point. And if you're already thinking like that, then you're already planning to give up. So why are you even starting in the first place? Is this important to you? You know, are these habits important to you? Are you willing to give up? If you're saying, oh, I'm not willing to give up, well, then make yourself publicly accountable for that. Make sure you have no choice. Stand by what you're saying. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Your word is important. If you're saying you're not going to give up, well, back that up with your actions. So public accountability is a great way to do this. And also, another great thing behind this is financially committing something if you fail. So I often do 90-day challenges. And again, it's not just 90 days. I don't get to the end of the 90 days and then stop. Well, I did once, but I've learned a lesson from that now. The point is that you, at the end of the 90 days, you've formed a habit. So then you continue the stuff that you've done indefinitely. But something that I'll often do in these 90-day challenges is I will pledge an amount of money to donate to charity. So my charity of choice is normally Victoria's Promise. And I will pledge, if I fail this challenge, I will donate this amount to Victoria's Promise. Which means, you know, if I do fail, yeah, it's going to go to a good cause, but I'll pledge an amount that is very uncomfortable for me, an amount that would sting to lose. And by doing that, it makes us much more likely to follow through on what we want to do. So if one of my goals is a morning workout every morning, well, if I have, let's say I put $5,000 on the line, and I'm having that little inner dialogue where I say, oh, I don't really feel like it this morning, I didn't get a good night's sleep, or I've got stuff to do, like I've got a busy day ahead, I'll just skip the workout. Well, if skipping the workout is going to cost me $5,000, I'm not going to skip the workout. Right? So again, it's tipping the scales to the point where I have no choice but to just do the thing regardless of how I feel. So that is number 3, right? It's manufacturing your environment so that success is automatic, so that you can't quit even if you were to cave into the little voice in your head. You've got no choice. And the final thing that I was going to talk about in this video was to give you a few ideas for habits that you might consider doing to form a decent morning routine. Now, I run with a modification of a morning ritual that I got from Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. He uses an acronym called SAVERS, which stands for, the S stands for silence, so either silence or meditation. A stands for affirmations. V stands for visualization of your goals. E stands for exercise. R stands for reading, and S for scribing or writing, sorry. So I do a modification of that. I have wake up on or before a certain time, I have workout, I have meditate, I have journaling in there, I have Audible, so it's my equivalent of reading. I'll listen to audiobooks. And that for me at the moment is the basis of a morning routine that I do, well, 5 out of 7 days a week. I'll sometimes do it on weekends, but I give myself the freedom to, to have a lie in or to have a sort of day off or so if I wish. Now, it's got to the point where I've been doing these things for so long that they pretty much happen on autopilot. I wake up, I have my routine, and I'll do the things that I need to do as part of my morning rituals. I'll also do cold shower blasts. I'll also track all of the calories that I eat through an app called MyFitnessPal. And I also do 5 video content pieces a week across my businesses, my online businesses. So the point is that once you've created the foundations by setting smaller habits, smaller goals, but committing that you're going to do them consistently every single day, or 5 out of 7 days a week if that's what the goal is, but just committing that you're going to do it no matter what. Once you get to the 2-month, the 3-month mark, they'll just become so automatic that you're just going to always do them. There's going to be no resistance. Then you might start building on those to add new habits or increase the habits. But until that point, until they are absolutely autopilot, my advice is do not try and climb mountains from the word go. Because the key here, the real result that we want to achieve as a result of starting a new morning routine is we want to form a habit. That's the aim. Because when you form a habit, everything else is going to start to fall into place a lot easier. All right, so I really hope this helps you start to build a more productive morning routine, start to generate some healthier habits. And if this has been useful, then I'm going to share with you through this video my actual daily goals and habits tracking spreadsheet. You can find details of how to access that either by clicking the little icon in the top right hand corner, or in the description below you'll see a link to access that spreadsheet. All right, so it's free, by the way. You can just download it for yourself and use that to track your habits and your goals, and make sure that you can create an awesome morning ritual to help you move forwards and achieve success. All right, thanks very much for watching. I hope this helps, and I will speak to you in another video. Bye for now.